guilty plea postponed for man tied to homicide amid deportation concerns. His name is Victor Bourron. He's also facing manslaughter charges in Toronto. Nice. He had attempted to plead guilty to unrelated gun and drug charges, but they were put on hold to allow him to seek legal advice. You know, Tracy, I'll go to you first on this one. We see with the gun grab zealots, with the courts, with the activist judges, they will throw the book at a Saskatchewan duck hunter if there is anything out of compliance with his firearms. And then you have this guy charged with manslaughter and murder, and the judge is going, oh, wait, you might want to get advice because I don't want you to see you deported. This is the kind of person we want in our country?
Well, in a sane country, this is exactly the type of person that you would want deported. Yeah. And for the judge to kind of step out of his role and be like, wait a minute, before you plead guilty and admit to your crimes, you know, let's consider how it's going to affect your immigration status, is absolutely insane. And it shows that protecting Canadian citizens is not a priority for our legal system or our politicians. And every Canadian should be worried about that.
100%. And you know, Alexa, if this man is not a citizen, well, you don't have the same rights as Canadian citizens. You're here by way of our good graces. The deal is you behave yourself, you obey the law, you don't chant genocide in the streets, but, well, I'm getting into another territory here. Why do you think there is a judge, and this isn't like a car theft or shoplifting charge, murder and manslaughter, why would a judge go to bat for this person?
Recently, I spoke with some high-rank person, and what he was saying is like some judge actually are venting themselves, saying like they never ever found guilty someone who were applying for refugee status. So actually, it's wrong what you just say. People who are coming here for asking for asylum and for refugee status, they have more rights than Canadians. They will be treated more softly. They will not be sentencing as harsh as Canadians. And this is what, and I refer what Justin Trudeau say, a Canadian is a Canadian is a Canadian. When he was answering to Harper about deporting people who had criminal records or who were supporting terrorism or other charge like that. And Justin Trudeau just say, Canadian is a Canadian.
But, you know, Alexa, you're kind of making my point, though. Even if you subscribe to Blackface's old adage of a Canadian is a Canadian is a Canadian, he's not a Canadian. So why does he get the rights of a Canadian?
Because he's in the process to be a Canadian, you know? So it's probably why. And as I say, there is a growing movement to protect the rights of all the people coming here and applying for refugee. And I find that really outrageous because we have some people, bad apple, who actually cross our border to ask for refugee status. I'm not really sure if they are really real refugee. Yeah. I think they are here just to exploit our system and our institution. But they are coming here. They are breaking the law. And actually, they broke the law if they came also illegally at our land border. But we are rewarding them. We are rewarding them, and they are emboldening them to do it again. Yeah. Because there is no sanction at the end of the day.
No, 100%, Alexa. Drea, what do you make of this? I know everyone is innocent until proven guilty, but this guy has pled guilty. Yeah. I mean, too bad, so sad. You broke the rules. You knew the penalties, or you should have known them. Here, we'll give you a free Uber to the airport. But no, again, I'm going to ask you to go into the head of this judge who this person is committed the worst crime there is, murder. He is pleading guilty to, and this judge is extending a lifeline? Why?
It's just bowing down to the fear of going against the orthodoxy. I mean, at Rebel News, this is what we cover all the time. We see Canadians getting the book thrown at them for having ideological belief that competes with that's what's politically correct. And then you see this happening for, I think the judge is just scared of looking like a racist. And it reminds me of the man from India that we're recently hearing about, who tried to buy a sexual girlfriend experience with a 15-year-old in Ontario and admitted to doing so. And our judge gave him no punishment, literally no criminal record at all for that, because it might interfere. I think his last name is Kant. He's an engineer from India. It might interfere with his process of becoming a Canadian. This is not someone we want to become a Canadian. It's disgusting.
Unbelievable. And I guess this judicial activist madness carries on. And again, going to real danger, i.e. Somebody accused of murder or manslaughter. But, well, at least he didn't have a cigarette lighter in the shape of a gun, thank God. I see a Toronto Sun story here. Potentially dangerous mental health patient AWOL, absent without a leave, in Toronto again. And it's about a 46-year-old CAMH patient deemed NCR in 2011 for 2 sex assaults. Well, he's taken off at least 7 times in the last 7 years. You know, I've been down to CAMH. That's where the mental asylum used to be. I have a saying, my own MAGA, make asylums great again, because I think we really need them to protect the mentally ill and to protect society at large. And there is a complete lack of security. You can wander in and out of there willy-nilly. I know many years ago the address of this facility was 999 Queen Street East, and this kind of reminds me of the banning the cigarette lighter shaped like a gun for optics. They changed the address to 1001 Queen Street East because some of the mental patients were looking at 999 and reversing it upside down to 666. So that's the first priority. But again, I'll go to you, Tracy. This fellow is a clear and present danger. Why is it too much to ask that for the protection of society, these people are securely locked down?
Well, this is a really stark warning to Canadian women to show you how little you matter to the entire system. This guy has been, he's committed sexual assaults in the past. He's a dangerous offender. Being found NCR is not criminally responsible. So they're saying that because of the state of his mental health, he isn't actually responsible for the crimes that he committed. It doesn't mean he didn't commit them, because he did, which means he's a dangerous offender. He deserves to be, and for the sake of women's safety, he needs to be under supervision. 7 times he's managed to walk out of there. So what happens when he walks out of there and comes across, you know, a woman waiting for the bus or loading her groceries in a car or any other situation? I mean, if we don't take women's safety seriously, then this is a stark reminder of how little you really matter to them.
Oh, and I think, Drea, where you are in Vancouver, I mentioned East Hastings Street, you see a wide assortment of, well, I'm looking for the right word, misfits, but a lot of people there, they're either drug addicts or they are mentally ill or both. How is it in anyone's interest, the addict, the mental patient, and law-abiding citizens, to allow this to fester?
Well, the bar is supposed to be extremely high to, be deemed criminally insane. So first, we need to look at if that's actually happening with these cases. But what's happening in the story we're talking about now isn't isolated. Actually, about a half an hour to 40 minutes away from Vancouver, there's a city called Coquitlam, and there is an institution there called Colony Farms. And in a span of 9 years, 200 patients had escaped. Some of those were the same patient, like we're seeing here so 200 times in 9 years. The worst of the worst, you could say, because they're criminally insane. You don't know if they're going to, machete off someone's head on the bus, like one of the patients who was in there, who is currently out, by the way, has done before. So, or I should say currently, I don't know if he's out, but he has visitation. That's another thing. A lot of these individuals get to actually go out into the public at some point in time, and there's concerns around that, and then come back. So it's not an isolated issue. They should have the highest of highest security at those places, and clearly it's not happening.
Oh, 100%. Are you speaking, Dre, of the Vincent Lee matter?
Yes.
The fellow who decapitated somebody on a Greyhound bus several years ago. Yeah. I don't know about you, Alexa. If someone's decapitated a passenger on a bus, I kind of want you locked away Hannibal Lecter style, with a face mask on behind bulletproof plastic shielding. But instead, visitation rights, early releases, or in the case of Cam H in Toronto, now you stay where you are, but if you want to leave, okay, be back before the lights come on. This is madness. What's going on in Montreal? Anything like this?
But I will state my next report, and I think it's really interesting. And that show how we are treating those cases with, I would say, too softly. I don't know if you remember, but in Montreal last year, there were a man entering into a business in Montreal and just making death threats and saying, we will find you one by one and we will kill you one by one. So this man had his first court case. So I went over there and I was listening, and the man is pleading mental illnesses to avoid to have those 2 criminal charges on him. So, okay. So I was listening. Apparently he's suffering allegedly from schizophrenia. So I went to check his criminal record. And what I saw is like in 2021, he was also charged with a criminal offense for allegedly assault with weapon on a police officer. He was discharged because apparently he was mentally ill. So again, we are seeing the same thing happening again. So how in the first place, this man was released into the streets? If he has mentally ill, how come now he's allowed to walk into the streets and commit again criminal offense?
It's shocking. And Alexa, going back to the Vincent Lee example that Drea brought up, just think about that. He had the wherewithal to take out a knife and actually behead somebody on a bus. It's right out of a horror movie. If people say, yeah, but he wasn't in his right mind, he wasn't taking his meds, at the risk of sounding cruel, I'm going to say, I don't care. He showed what he's capable of. He should be behind bars for the rest of his life. But we give endless second chances to the worst of the worst, it seems, in this country. And maybe in the next federal election, Mr. Poilievre has a run on this plank in terms of keeping Canadian communities safer.